Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of the Microbrand Marketing Podcast. Now, today I have a really exciting episode for you. What we're going to talk about today is not so much theoretical like the previous episodes have been. It's actually something that you can plug and play, and if done correctly, is guaranteed to bring thousands of pounds, dollars of sales into your pipeline, in my opinion, for the lowest upfront investment. Now, there is a little bit of preparation that goes into this beforehand, but I'm going to talk you through that right now. And what we're going to talk about is email marketing. Now, you probably know a lot about email marketing, or a fair amount if you're starting a watch brand or if you run a watch brand. However, do you know that you might actually be missing out, on thousands or tens of thousands of sales every single month because you haven't used the correct software and you haven't set up things properly? So it's important to have your house in order when you set things up. Now, in this episode, what I'm going to talk about is some basic flows that you need set up, some tagging flows, and some advanced flows. Now, what is a flow? Let me explain. When you use email software, if you're using something like MailChimp, which in my opinion is very basic email marketing software, it's the entry level, I believe it actually does have automated flows built in. It's something very common. What a flow is something that is automated and it happens with a defined characteristic. So, for example, when someone abandons cart, they will enter an abandoned cart flow where they will receive a specific email reminding them that they've abandoned their cart and asking them if they want to check out. And say that has a 20% conversion rate. So 20% of people that abandon cart come back to the website because of that email and buy a watch from you. Now, we're going to go a little bit deeper into this topic today. There's one thing I'd like to preface this with, and that is I have spent years doing email marketing for my watch brand clients. So this is not something that you can just know everything about in a 20-minute podcast episode, right? I mean, I have clients that pay me to do this for their watch brand, and they pay me a fee every month to set up their email marketing and manage it and constantly optimize it. And this is the one thing that you notice when you have a watch brand, is that it becomes very hard to constantly be on top of marketing because you have to run a business, right? You have to do finances, you have to fulfill orders, you have to do customer service, etc. It gets very difficult. But hopefully in this episode, I will be able to clear that up for you, give you some actionable tips and points. And you might realize some things that you're missing out on if you are using email marketing at the moment. So what does this look like? Can I give you some tangible, actual results from real other watch brands in the industry, the same as you, that are using email flows accurately? Yes, the answer is I absolutely can. Now, we are on the 17th of March, so I have gone back the past month. So from the 17th of February 2023 until the 17th of March, which is today, 2023. Okay. And I have 2 case studies here, and I will tell you right now what the numbers look like. So, client 1, who is a watch brand client of mine, they have had 10 discount code uses from emails, and that has resulted in $8,000 in revenue, and their mailing list size is 9,000. And the second client has had 15 purchases from emails directly, which results in £8,250 in revenue, and their mailing list is 4,000 large. So there's 4,000 people / email addresses in that mailing list. So there is some basic figures from the past 30 days that are very actionable. I mean, would you take £8,250 or $8,000 for essentially free, right? I absolutely would. Now, the first thing you might want to ask is, what email software do my clients use? I always get them to use ActiveCampaign. Now, ActiveCampaign is not cheap at all. It's something that costs a decent amount of money. However, when you look at the revenue that it brings in, the subscription cost every month is absolutely minimal. My clients, currently pay about $290 a month for ActiveCampaign, and as a result, they're bringing in, upwards of $8,000 in revenue every month. That is the only cost involved, is that $290 a month. So it is actually very cheap compared to something like advertising on Facebook, Instagram, etc. The only thing that you really need is a mailing list with a good amount of people in it, and a mailing list that's constantly being replenished and new people are constantly joining. We will talk about how you can get more people in your mailing list at a later date. There's many ways. One of the things I do for a lot of the watch brands I work with is we constantly update the mailing list, and we have new people joining every single day. Most clients, in my opinion, on average, that I see have about 6 people joining the mailing list every single day, which is not bad at all. We are actively trying to get new subscribers, and 6 a day is a number that you should effectively reach for. If your mailing list is small, of course, you may want to put more money, more effort into this and build up a decent sized mailing list. In my opinion, if you're going to invest in something like ActiveCampaign, I would make sure you have around 1,000 email subscribers before you invest $290 in a software every month. Okay. Now, there's one thing I'm going to say here. Quick plug. If you would like a 30-day trial of ActiveCampaign, you can head over to my website, which is microbrand-marketing.com. And if you scroll all the way down, at the very bottom of the website, there's a book a call section. Right above that, there's a section called Our Partners. And if you click the blue button in that section, it will take you through to ActiveCampaign, and you will be able to get a 30-day free trial of ActiveCampaign. And what you can do is look at the flows, play around with the flows, and see everything that I'm talking about. And I guarantee if you put a lot of effort into building out some flows in ActiveCampaign, you're going to want to try them, and you're going to end up paying for a full membership, 110%. I can guarantee that. Now, one thing that's incredibly realistic, of course, I have been doing this for years. I have got the process down to a very simple workflow when it comes to setting up an email campaign. And just so you know, from scratch, from setting up the ActiveCampaign account until being ready to actually start using ActiveCampaign and sending the first email, it takes around 21 days for myself, just as one person, to build out a client's email list. Email subscription service. And that includes creating the art on Canva, Photoshop for each and every email, writing the emails myself for every client using copywriting tips and tricks, etc., etc., etc. So without further ado, let's get into some of the flows and exactly what you should have set up. So 2 basic flows. Now, whether you're using ActiveCampaign or you're using something like MailChimp or Klaviyo, which is, in my opinion, between MailChimp and ActiveCampaign, there is 2 things that you'll have set up. Now, even Shopify, Squarespace, BigCommerce have marketing softwares built in, which in my opinion is way below MailChimp in terms of if you should use it or not. But if you have a small mailing list, you're going to want to use something that is cheap, usually free, like Shopify email. And built into Shopify, you will be able to use a welcome email and an abandoned cart email. That is the 2 flows that you must have set up, and you probably will already have set up. Now, for anyone listening out there who may be starting a watch brand, looking to start a watch brand, or has never done e-commerce before, let me explain very quickly what a welcome email and an abandoned cart email is. So a welcome email is essentially when someone joins your mailing list, they will automatically get an email saying, welcome to the mailing list, and it will give some information or a discount code, whatever you want it to say, right? You can literally put anything in an email. It's entirely up to you. Of course, I can give suggestions, or there's things that I would do and I wouldn't do, but we can't go into that because I don't have a week to sit here and talk endlessly on this podcast, right? So we can go into that at a later date. Of course, if you want to speak to me directly, you can go to my website and book a call for 30 minutes for completely free, and we can go into something like this deeper. Now, welcome email, that's essentially covered. Very simple. Abandoned cart is, as I said a few minutes ago, if somebody abandons the cart, so if they're about to check out and then they click off the website for whatever reason, maybe the shipping cost is too large, maybe their dinner's ready and their wife or partner is calling them to the dinner table, and they click off the website and they forget completely about your product or the thing they were about to buy. We would hope that they don't, but in a world that is so based on instant gratification nowadays, it's very, very, very common to see people get to the point of about to spend $600, $700, $800 and then click off and genuinely forget that completely they're about to do that and be marketed to by someone else, and then you've lost that sale. So how do we avoid that? All you have to do is set up an abandoned cart flow. So whenever someone abandons cart, 24 hours later, 48 hours later, you send them an email with a little nudge saying, hey, you didn't check out. Here's your basket with this watch in it. Would you like to check out? Another thing you can do to increase your conversion rate, if your margins allow it, is offer a 5-10% discount code to those people exclusively so that they are more likely to then go back and check out because they've been given an exclusive offer at the time of opening the email. So that is the two number one flows that you want set up, in my opinion. So let's move on to some slightly more advanced flows that are essentially the ones that actually make my clients all the money that I spoke about before. Welcome email and abandoned cart bring in money. There's no doubt about that. But it is not $8,000 and £8,250 in the past 30 days kind of money, right? It's the more advanced stuff that's bringing in that money. Now, one thing you'd like to know, if you want to hire someone, an agency, for example, you can Google this yourself. A lot of agencies just set up email marketing, manage it and optimize it for you every month. And they genuinely charge north of $3,000 a month just for this. Now, in my opinion, it's not worth that much money. Of course, when it's bringing in that much sales and it's quantifiable, it's fair enough. But the way that I look at it is that for $3,000, you can save every single month. That's $36,000 a year, remember. You can honestly easily learn these things yourself. And it's more of a time-saving thing, right? If you don't have the time and you have the money to spend, by all means hire an agency. Or if you're not confident in your copywriting and email writing, editing, photo editing ability, or even technical ability, then yes, it might be worthwhile for you to hire an agency. But in my opinion, I just wouldn't charge anyone anywhere near that amount of money, which is why I include email marketing as part of my overall service package when I work with a watch brand, because it's more value, it's much less money, and we include every other service under the sun with that one monthly cost that I charge clients, right? So just a quick disclaimer, I certainly would not go hiring an email agency to set up things like this. Now, I have no doubt if anyone that runs an email agency is listening, they will completely disagree with me and they will give you every reason under the sun to use an email agency. But if you are capable of learning these things yourself, then why would you not? Because it saves you $3,000 a month minimum. Okay. So the advanced flows. There is 2 tagging flows that I would set up. And what a tagging flow is it will add a tag in the contact field of a specific email address. And the way it works on ActiveCampaign in particular is you install some code into the header of your site on every page. Very simple. ActiveCampaign walks you through all of this. And what that will do is it will track an email subscriber. So if I was subscribed to your website and I go onto the website and I look at a particular product, ActiveCampaign will remember that I have looked at that specific URL, and it will essentially keep it in the database of ActiveCampaign so that it remembers that I have looked at this specific product, right? So when you set up product interest tagging, for example, it's going to record every time someone looks at a specific product on your website. Now, the benefit of this, which we'll get onto, is you can use these tags, this data, to follow up with people with hyper-targeted, specific product emails, and that is going to give you a much higher conversion rate. This is actually where we see most of our sales come from for my clients, is the product interest tagging follow-up flows, right? But in order to do those flows, you need the product interest tagging flows. Now, funnily enough, ActiveCampaign, because it is so great, has an automation pre-builder, right? And you can go into the automations, select product interest tagging, and the wizard will talk you through setting this up. And it will set it up for you, super easy process. You just have to enter some URLs and do what the wizard tells you. And then it's set up and it's running and it is tagging everyone who visits your website with anonymous tag. The only thing I will say is that it will not work for anyone who is not in your mailing list. It will only track people who are in your mailing list and people who have already taken action on the site. For example, opened an email, it will then start tracking for the rest of their life, right? Now, the second thing is engagement tagging. This is very important because if you have 2,000 people in your email list and let's say only 100 of them open emails and the rest of them go into spam or they're not interested in your product, your email deliverability is going to be impacted, which is, it causes a whole load of other problems that we'll not even get into. So engagement tagging is important for 2 reasons. One, revenue driven. What will happen, and this is another wizard feature that ActiveCampaign can set up for you, is an engagement tagging flow. But what it will set up is an automated flow that will add and remove a tag to someone. So whenever someone gets sent an email, they'll insert them into the engagement tagging flow. And if they open the email, they will become tagged as engaged because they're engaging with your content. If they click a link in an email, they'll become engaged. But if they don't take any action, every couple of days they will move down a tag and they'll become from engaged to less engaged. And Facebook, ActiveCampaign will remove the tag engaged and it'll add the tag less engaged, for example, and then disengaged and all the way down to just not interested. So what you can do is see when you go on a specific contact in the ActiveCampaign database, you can look at your email subscribers and see how many are actually engaged and opening your emails and how many are disengaged. The brilliant thing about this is it will keep your deliverability of your marketing emails on point, because you can then set up another flow called re-engagement or unsubscribe. And what this flow is going to do is anyone who is disengaged, it will send an email to them of your choice. You can write anything in these emails, remember, with, say, 10% off or 15% off, an exclusive offer that they've never seen before. And if they open that email, they'll become engaged and they'll no longer be tagged as disengaged. However, if they don't open this email, it will then unsubscribe them from your mailing list because they're not opening any emails. There is no point having them in your database and having your deliverability impacted as a result of them not opening any form of communications from yourself. So that is one of the key benefits of the engagement tagging and the engagement follow-up / unsubscribe flow. Now, there is 3 more advanced flows that I will quickly go into in this episode, and then I will leave the rest up to you. What I'm thinking about doing actually is recording a proper video on my YouTube channel, which is called Microbrand Marketing. I upload the podcast episodes there to there as well. What I'm considering doing, though, is actually recording a full video, recording my screen and going through one of my clients' active campaigns and just showing you the flows and how they work. If that would be useful, please do let me know because I will be sure to do that. So let's just get into these last few flows. Flow number 3 in advanced flows is the upsell flow. Now, I doubt I need to explain this one to you. Very simple. If somebody buys from you, you can enter them into an automated flow, say 2 months later, and you can offer them an upsell of some new, maybe leather watch straps to complement their purchase, or some NATO straps, etc., etc. Or you can even upsell them on a piece that is more expensive or a new launch. All these features that you can upsell them on, but all you're trying to do here is increase the customer lifetime value. So instead of them spending money on one watch and never buying again, you're re-engaging with them further down the line and they're ordering again. So instead of spending 800, say they buy straps, they're spending 825. And that increases your overall profitability as a watch business, which is hugely valuable to yourself and the business. Okay. So that is a basic upsell flow. Another thing you can set up in ActiveCampaign, for example, that is dead easy to set up. Okay. Number 4, this is a huge one. It is a welcome series full flow. So as we said in basic flows all the way at the start, a welcome email is just one email that welcomes someone to your email list. A welcome series flow is, for example, 5, 6, 7 emails that they will get when they subscribe, right? Now, they're not going to get all these emails at once, of course. They're going to get these emails over a set amount of time. So what I usually do, and I actually recommend, believe it or not, is an email every day for 5, 6, or 7 days. So they get 5, 6, or 7 emails, or an email every 2 days. You want to A/B, so split test the two. You can do this in things like ActiveCampaign and Klaviyo. Now, the benefit of this is instead of just sending a welcome email with a discount, which looks like you're selling, it's something that everyone, every e-commerce business does, it allows you to expand and tell the story. You can tell your story, you can talk about yourself, your pieces, the design process, and it indoctrinates them. I call this an indoctrination flow. If you Google indoctrination flows on Google, YouTube, etc., I'm sure you'll get a lot more information about them in depth. However, it brings someone into your world, it tells them about your products, and it lets them learn for a period of 7 days, whilst in tandem they're looking at the products on your site. And then on day 7, you can remind them of their exclusive discount code as a thank you for getting involved. And they either use the code or they then continue looking at products on the site and they get targeted by one of your product interest targeting follow-ups, right? It's essentially one big machine that works to get someone to convert and spend money on one of your lovely timepieces. That is the Welcome Series full flow. Now, as I said, all of these flows are topics I could talk about for half an hour to an hour with each flow, right? But I just can't do that in this podcast. I definitely can't, because I can't visualize it to you or show you it. But as I said, I might do a follow-up YouTube video on this at a later date if there's enough demand for it. Now, the final flow, which I think is key in my opinion, and this is for watch brands specifically. If you happen to somehow stumble across this podcast and you're running a brand that, say, sells coffee machines, yes, these flows might work for you, but everything I do, every brand that I work with, when it comes to being a consultant, is a watch brand. So this is things that I see work with the watch brands that I work with. As I spoke to you and told you earlier on in the episode, the sort of results we see, which is $8,000 in revenue every month and £8,250 in revenue from another client every month, right? Final flow, Facebook audience flow. And this is, in my opinion, I could be wrong, it's exclusive to ActiveCampaign. You used to be able to do this on Klaviyo, but I have tried and it does not let me anymore. It says that this integration is no longer available. So I think ActiveCampaign, believe it or not, is the only email software to offer a direct Facebook integration in terms of audience tagging. You can still use lead forms, etc., which we can talk about in another episode when it comes to getting traffic into your email list. You can still integrate with Facebook on essentially every decent email software, but you cannot integrate with custom audiences on Facebook. I believe that is now solely exclusive to ActiveCampaign. So when someone joins your welcome series, I would set up this flow. You can add it into your welcome series flow. So before they even receive the first email, in ActiveCampaign, you can add them to a Facebook custom audience. So what this means, instead of having to upload a manual CSV list of your email subscribers to Facebook to show ads to, which we'll talk about in another episode, you can just automatically add them and it syncs with Facebook. So whenever they go through the flow, they also get added to a Facebook audience, and you can, in tandem with receiving emails, show them adverts for the brand. So that is a very basic breakdown of the top email flows that I would use in a watch brand that I am working with. And it's something that you can set up yourself. Of course, there's sometimes a bit of expertise needed. You might not see results like the results that I have told you about straight off when you start doing the flows, mainly because I have spent years doing this. So I do have the edge of expertise, we would say, and I obviously work with a lot of different watch brands. So I kind of know what's going to work and what isn't going to work, and what has worked for one brand and what might not work for another. So it's very easy for me to create an email system that converts and actually brings in money for a brand. However, if you are a small micro brand, you're starting up, or say you've only done one or two Kickstarters, cash flow's a bit tight, you may want to just start on something like MailChimp, Squarespace email, Shopify email, and you won't be able to do flows that are as complicated and complex as ActiveCampaign. However, in my opinion, as soon as you have the money, which is around $290 a month, because you want to get the plus plan on ActiveCampaign, get ActiveCampaign. That is the number one piece of advice I would give any watch brand owner, because your campaign, your email list, it does not go anywhere. You own it. Those people have subscribed to hear from you and they're interested in the brand. So I don't know why you wouldn't market to them. In my opinion, in the world of marketing, specifically for watch brands, it also has the highest ROI in terms of marketing. For example, if you run a Facebook ad, you probably, if you've not ran ads before, you'll get no sales. You'll have to spend a lot of money to get a sale and you're going to see no return. But if you set up email marketing and you have new people coming into your ActiveCampaign account or your email subscriber list, you're going to see some of them convert into customers, and they're going to buy again and again and again if you have the right flows set up. So for the $290, we'll call it $300 a month, there is a much larger ROI. And if you have a mailing list of, say, 4,000 subscribers, and you're not seeing, let's say, between $4,000 and $8,000 a month in sales from the email list, you're probably doing something wrong. Okay. Now that is all the time that I have for this episode. I hope it's been valuable. Of course, as I said, this is something that's taken me years to learn, but I hope these flows, if you have written them down, are going to give you some inspiration and they're going to help you set up your email marketing properly. Because one thing that I see when I speak to new microbrands that want to work with me, or microbrands that have been running for years, is that their emails are never set up properly, and their emails are very, very salesy. So think about your email marketing campaigns and automated flows if you have them, and think about if you were on the receiving end and you're interested in a product. Do you feel like you are being sold to, or do you feel like you're being told a story? Talking about, obviously, one of our previous episodes about selling with a story. You want to make sure you are selling effectively and you're not shoving discount codes in someone's face, because it devalues your watches and they will go somewhere else. You know as well as me, if someone's a fan of a microbrand, they're always looking for that next piece, and they're always looking to become a customer of a new brand. And some people actually have enough money to buy 1 or 2 pieces a month, believe it or not. And they might never spend that money with you if you're constantly harassing them with discount codes, because it is desperate and it really does devalue your product. So be careful about that. Once again, guys, if you want a 30-day free trial to ActiveCampaign, head over to microbrand-marketing.com. Scroll down to the bottom, the Our Partners section, where it's got the Facebook partners, ActiveCampaign partners logos. There's a button, a big blue button. You cannot miss it at the bottom of the webpage, and it says, click here for a free 30-day ActiveCampaign trial. If you click that, it will take you to the front page, and you can essentially sign up for a free trial through that, because they do not always offer it straight on their website landing page. But fortunately, I am an affiliate, so I can get a free trial for anyone that does sign up. And you can have a look around and then just cancel it, and you don't have to spend any money at all. But it is something, as soon as you have the budget, I would 100% invest in. So I thank you for listening. I hope you all had a good week. Thank you very much. Have an amazing weekend, guys. Bye-bye.